such an asshole.
So we got a request from a regular requester, Rushil. He comes up with different ones. They're not. Oh my God, Cappy, how do I jerk off my own dick? They're different. Dear Clary, what are your thoughts that publishers want to charge $100 for a video game? Sincerely, Rushil. And I said, can you give me some examples? Also, why are they claiming their games are worth $100? Like, you get a serious campaign with the game? Is it promised to be bug free? Kind of curious what the reasons are the developers are claiming $100 an acceptable game price. And they sent me an article, and this is from Tweaktown. Let me open it there. I'll close out that. $70 games aren't sustainable, says CEO that's selling a game for $70. As budgets rise and profit margins shrink, gaming's new $70 price tag feels like it's here to stay, but one gaming CEO thinks prices will fall over time. Saber Interactive CEO Matthew Karch believes $70 is too much of a charge for a game, but his studio is nonetheless selling Space Marine 2 for $70 on all platforms. At the start of Gen 9 in November of 2020, publishers like Take-Two Interactive, Activision, Electronic Arts, and Sony were among the first to charge $70 for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XX, beep, bop, boop, beep, 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 boop, beep, 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 Xbox Series, because you have to have 15 different versions of your Xbox there. Microsoft, smart move. Versions of games. This trend has continued well into 2024 and shows no sign of stopping, especially now that publishers are laying off workers en masse in an attempt to stem bleeding budgets and shrinking profit margins. Here, got an idea. Well, there's also inflation, so I will defend the video game industry that there's a fair amount of inflation. But it's just like movies. How about you stop making shit games? There's a lot to criticize in games. No campaigns, immature or premature releases, bugs, not good stories, not good games, not good gameplay. Did a whole video about once NBAs infect and I don't necessarily blame the actual developers, the men and women who know how to program shit. Not all you other worthless fucking pieces of shit who happen to be employees. Like, get the fucking NBAs out of the way. Get the fucking HR people out of the way. Marketing, you get one guy. And he better be good at his fucking job. The rest of it should be nerds. But yeah, if you guys here, the $70 game was an attempt to offset high production costs. Some games like Spider-Man 2 cost $200 million to make. Make more clever and better games. I know it's not a video game, but they had Godzilla -1. What was it, $25 million budget, and they created an incredibly. They had really, I think it won an Oscar for special effects, didn't it? Be better. There's your answer. But not everyone agrees with the new software MSRP. Consumers have pushed back against the pricing in 2003. We surveyed over 25,000 gamers on the subject of $70 software. And most agree that it's too much. Some industry figures like Saber Interactive's Matthew Karch have even spoken out against the price tag, saying that's just unsustainable. Karch recently held 2 interviews that discussed the subject of $70 games, one on IGN and the other on gamesindustry.biz. In both interviews, Karch expressed that $70 is too expensive for new games. That being said, Sabers will indeed sell Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 for $70 when it releases in September. And it looks like they're already having trouble with that going woke. I mean, if it's the same game, and Demion said they already are abandoning canon, well, good. Hey, look, okay, I'm very pro developer, software engineer, and all that. That being said, most of y'all in the video game industry, you vote Democrats, so go fuck yourselves. Get fucked. Go fuck yourselves. You brought this on yourselves. Where now I love seeing this backlash where no, you can't be woke anymore. Go ahead, be woke. Put $250 million budget of a video game development. Go be woke. See what happens. Or maybe, I don't know, make good video games. We don't have to sell a game for $70. I prefer not to. I think that's expensive. I don't like that. It's almost not fair. Part of the reason Helldivers 2 has had the success it has had is because it comes in at a much lower price point and it's accessible, he told GI Biz. The same interview, Karch says he wishes he could sell Space Marine 2 for cheaper. Focuses on the publisher and we're the developer. That's where I lose. I don't know what the publisher or the developer. I have no idea what the difference is. But this is Saber's game. I would love to sell at least the digital edition for less than $70 because we can. I think we should. If you do games that look, feel, and play as good as this, it shouldn't matter how much money you spent on the game. What should matter, and here's why I agree. Well, I didn't disagree with them necessarily anyway. What should matter is how many man months. That's what it says, man months. Not woman months, man months. I like woman months, but more manly. Unless you're a Zoomer, then it's like, then you're confused months. You're androgynous months. They are not as beefy as the man months. A lot more of emotion in those months. Man months were put into the same game. What were the resources put in that game, right? Yeah, if you can get like Ghost of Tsushima, one of my favorite games. I think that was like 80 hours gameplay for me. Okay, so that's $1. Let's say it was $80. It wasn't $80. Let's say it was $80. That's $1 an hour. I think I paid, it was a used game. I think I paid maybe 30, got 100. We're talking 33 cents a month, an hour in gameplay. That's dirt cheap entertainment. You girls wonder why guys ain't taking you to dinner. $100 dinner, that's $50 an hour of expenses for the guy. He could pay 33 cents or $1 an hour tops. That's an expensive game, $1 an hour tops. So yeah, if you get a lot of playability out of the game, absolutely it's worth your time. So again, I'm not necessarily against oh darn it, I had the article. I'm not necessarily against a $70 video game. Of the 25,291 total response, 68% of them, or 17,122 gamers, said that they were willing to pay a maximum of $60 for new AAA games. Most AAA games are shit because they've been co-opted by corporations and woke leftists. Sorry, true. 23% said they're willing to pay 70, but only in special cases, as in marquee and higher quality games such as PlayStation 5 exclusive titles. 5% of users said they use subscriptions like Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus to meet their gaming needs. Another 5% said that $70 is an acceptable price tag for new AAA games. I don't think willing to pay 60. They're not worth 60. They aren't. AAA games are horrible. Card says he thinks the $70 price point will go extinct at some points because companies may no longer have such substantial risk versus reward profiles for their games. Thus, the higher $70 price tag may no longer be necessary. How about you stop putting... Now, I'm not accusing Karch of this. How about you stop putting politics into games? And how about you make sure they're good? I'm sorry for all the business people out. I'm talking the video games industry, but this goes for any one of you middle management, upper management, executive management cocksuckers. Your job is not sexy. It's not supposed to be sexy. Good product at a good price. That's it. It's like being it's like being a supporting wife. Stay thin. Well, fuck them, feed them, and leave them alone. Was that the three I heard? It was a girl who said it too. Fuck them, feed them, leave them alone. Not complicated. Good product at a fair price. That's it. That's all you have to do. Stop hiring these, baby game, baby face, sweet baby, parasites. Stop hiring them. Stop putting make good games at a fair price. And then you won't have to increase your price up to $70 to make up for the lack of sales because you pissed off half your player base. And I hope the price goes down as well. No longer have such substantial risk versus reward profiles for games. Thus, the higher $70 price tag may no longer be necessary. I think that as games become more expensive to make, the $70 title is going to go the way of the dodo. I just don't think it's sustainable. Well, you think it's going to be going up to 100? Is that what he's saying? Look, you remember the hype of Cyberpunk, which I think actually ultimately performed okay, but when the expectations are so high, and so much money is put into one title, it's hugely risky for the company that's doing it. What if it fails? Here, make sure it doesn't. You remember what happened when Ubisoft a couple years ago, all their titles slipped out of the year, and then all of a sudden they were in an entirely different place? It's hard to recover from that. Don't be dicks. And part of the good product part of that statement is that it's easily accessible. Oh, we're gonna move it over here. Now it's on a new library. Oh, fuck this online bullshit. UK boomer. No, have fun losing your entire library of games. I think the market is going to shift to development, which is not necessarily lower quality, but there's going to be an emphasis on trying to find ways to reduce costs. Uh, Cyberpunk 2077 did more than okay. Game broke all previous records set forth by The Witcher 3 and has now made over 750 million in revenue. Yeah, but it didn't have like a bad release. However, if the game ultimately failed, it would have been a make or break moment for CD Projekt. So that's a good informative article. Who's the guy who wrote it? Derek Strickling. Thank you, Derek, for just writing a news article. That was very informative and unbiased. So some kind of piqued my interest, and I want to see how much inflation has happened. I remember they didn't have AAA games in my day, but I can very clearly remember paying $27.99. I think it was 1985 for a video game called Pitfall 2. It was the sequel to Pitfall. And that was the bee's knees. That was the closest. I was like, okay, that was 1985. The CPI index was 107. I looked at the CPI index today. It's 312. Did the math. And so in today's dollars, I paid $81 for Pitfall 2. Now, was it worth it? Yes. Even back then, God, what was I? 10 years old. All my pop can money. Yeah, I played that thing for hours, multiple times. And of course, your per hour cost is probably a little bit different in 1980s with games that weren't meant to last more than, well, I guess you could play them on a loop all the time. But we play video games a long time. I got it. I probably got it definitely down below like cents an hour. I'm sure I got it below $1 an hour. But I using it as kind of a ballpark. I'm like, okay, $70 isn't terribly out of the realm of inflation. Like it's on the high end, admittedly, because a pretty good video game goes for what, 50, $60 now. I just wait, just like cars, for all you guys to play your games and sell it back to GameStop. I go pick it up cheap, wait for it to go on sale. And so I'm kind of looking like, hey, yeah, it's on the high end, but it's not crazy. It's not ridiculous. And ultimately, yeah, if you get enough gameplay out of it, it can be worth it. But $100, that man, that do you know the smile on a kid's face if you give them $100 bill? They're used to getting fives, maybe a 10. Oh, a rare 20. Well, who's this Benjamin Franklin guy? How much? Yeah, $100? And whether it's 70 or 100, that's serious money. It would be fine if I didn't look over my back and see all the people at, whether it's Activision or Bethesda or any of these woke leftists, polishing their dildo of wokeness they're about to shove up my ass. And then they set the dildo of wokeness down, and they grab the dildo of downloadable content and they polish that up, and they're looking at me. They set that one down and and then they polished the dildo and they put some lube on it, thankfully, of bugs, because the game don't work. And then they look like, oh boy, we get to shove it up these people's asses. Because back in the day in the Atari 2600, you bought the game, you owned the game, and it worked. Crazy. Even Nintendo, generations later, PlayStation 1 and 2. Now that the NBA's gotten into video games, it's kind of like, oh, would I buy $100 video game? So I came up with a list of what it would take for $100 video game to be worth it. I just got like 6 things. Right. First, it must be very good, if not an excellent story. Will not settle for good or average. It has to be like no plot holes, You had to get real writers, not the dipshits that come out of college and universities today. No one from California, right? Somebody who was creative, an actual creative person, came up with a uh, good, entertaining, if a plot is called for it, that has integrity, no gaping plot holes. It must be very good, if not excellent gameplay. There was Medal of Honor Airborne, and they fucked with the XY axis, left, right, and you could switch it. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. No, I'm not going to switch it. I don't want it to be jumpy. I don't want it to be buggy. For $100, I better be able to grab that controller and just figure it out intuitively. No bugs, no downloads, no patches. That's that boring shit. Test your software before you release it. Absolutely no woke or any other political bullshit. I don't want to see Christian messages. I don't want to see fucking Muslim messages. I don't want to see Democrat messages. I don't want to see Republican messages. I don't want to hear about Labor or Tory messages. Good products at a fair price. Ghost of Tsushima. All right, now a little bit of politics because the Mongols are invading. All right, unless the game itself is Trump is back. Get the fuck out of here. Heroine, ugly female with flat ass and permanent resting bitch face who's lesbian. Get the fuck out of here. I don't need to play someone who looks like me. I don't want to. I honestly say here's where you'd save a lot of time and money. You don't need your character to look like you. I would get rid of character customization. That's gotta eat up a ton of resources and memory and time and programming. Like, no, you're playing Bob Bobson of of uh, of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and he's got a super gun. There you go. You're Bob Bobson. I think Agent 13, you played a black guy. Never thought, oh my God, I'm playing like, well, I'm not represented because I'm not a fucking pussy, limp dick, worthless person who has to see himself and everything. I got more important shit to do. They're like, oh my God, I got white skin. Ghost of Tsushima didn't dawn on me until someone pointed it out. Oh, you're playing a Japanese guy. I'm like, well, yeah, he's a say. Oh, I see your point. It didn't matter. You're this cool Japanese samurai. I want to make him have brown eyes and be white. Fuck. None of that shit. Get that. But hey, if you want us to select our pronouns. This is kind of a little bit long shot, especially with online gameplay. I don't want no username and password. I know I'd have to. If you want to play online, you got to log in. I get it. I'm not signing up. Don't make me sign up for your game. If I'm on an online gaming platform, I don't want to sign up for any more shit. There should also be a campaign or offline play. I'm done with the first person shooter World War II and like you get this little gameplay that's bullshit. This little campaign that lasts an hour and a half. Then I got to be online. No. I do not want excessive downloadable content. Like I don't mind paying him for DLC, but make sure it's fucking good. But it shouldn't be required to enjoy the majority of the game. And that also should not be priced egregiously. And I want physical ownership. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you. Nope. I want my games. It's like silver or any other precious metal. Like, well, according to your brokerage account, you owe this many ounces. Yeah, where are they? No. I want to own the ounces of silver. I want to own my video games. I want to own my movies. And that way down the road, you won't edit them later. That'd be about it. That'd be pretty much it. A lot of that stuff's pretty easy. The hard stuff is for you guys to actually make a quality video game. Like you don't have to be woke. Oh, and then making sure there's no bugs. That'd be the other thing. That's pretty hard to do. Your HR directors and your diversity meetings and your NBA, brainstorm sessions. They're not going to make a good product. You should fire pretty much 95% of those people and bow down and worship the programmers, and you get them whatever the fuck they want. What? You need someone running get you pizza right away. Right away. Wisdom Vision Productions, $5. Gamers who buy at launch are now beta testers. Yes, they are. For the complete edition that released 2 years later with all patches plus bonus content. Absolute psyop. Wisday again, $5. They barely make games nowadays. They make interactive movies and charge you more to play the game less. Next, they'll insert ads mid gameplay. I don't mind. Okay. If you want to sell some real estate, digital real estate in a video game, like there's a Pepsi machine. Okay, I can get behind that. Especially if it lowers the price of the game. Where you say, okay, we're gonna have I don't know, I'm trying to think. Ford wants to run an ad on the latest video game. Okay, you can have a Ford dealership in there as long as it goes to lower the profits or lower the cost of the game. Wisdom Vision. Let me ask you this, Wisdom. Would you pay if your video game had a 1989 Cindy Crawford come out drinking a Pepsi? Would you really complain, Wisdom? Would you? There's something for you non-woke developers. All you got to do is go back, get those 80s models, right? Elle McPherson, Kathy Ireland, whoo. Denise Richards, who wasn't a model, but she was hot in the 90s. You get all these old gals, you get permission to but maybe you just have to go. Never mind. That's complicated. Just get some old school hot models from the 80s, that style, and then they advertise whatever. Lenovo computers, whatever nerds consume. $5 again from Wisda. I'll just wait until the inevitable complete edition releases with a 25% sale. Thank you, consumers, for beta testing AAA games for me at launch. I'm not only is it going and buying the game, the cost of the game, but the time I got to spend to go get the game. Thank God for people like Endymion, World Class Bullshitters, Yellow Flash, although they're more like video game news, but the video game reviewers, the movie reviewers, they save you guys so much time, literally hundreds of billions of dollars worth of lost labor and time and money. They are doing the Lord's work economically speaking. So I will wait for other people to test it and like, is it woke trash? It's a Gundam. Wisdom Vision Productions, $5. On the positive side, I like that a lot of younger people are choosing to play older games instead of the new garbage. Retro wave in full swing. Right, because the games are better. Bob, $5. Since video games become mainstream, it becomes taint with politic and other stuff. It's a blessing to like a niche hobby, I guess. No, you're. I'm not questioning you, Bob. It is because then people won't bother you. Like no one bothers my hiking. Yeah, they just can't see. Everyone's lazy. And when you get these fuckwits in at the video games, become big corporate video games company, and they cut corners and make shit. And you all saw it. And now it's already happening. People are leaving AAA doesn't mean anything. AAA, like, fuck that shit. I'll wait. Wait for everyone to play. Are these the top 3 games? Okay, fine. I have very little free time. I'm not some Democrat soy boy, 25-year-old still living in his mom's basement with no job, claiming I have head-to-head to his and I need a disability check and get to play video games all day. I have very little free time, so I'm going to make sure my video games are top-notch. I'll let everybody else play them. But inevitably, yeah, I don't have time for a good video game to be ruined by politics. Wisdom again, $5. They bring back the hot, sexy babes, and I'll consider paying extra. How about that? Stellar Blade is a good start, though. More of that, please. Yeah, when I get back home, I'm gonna probably buy that game and play it. And Herschel, our Israeli agent in the field, who is not named Herschel, for 10 Israeli shekel or 15 Israeli shekels. I think that feminism won't hold the same weight in Germany because SW Smith and Wesson is legal here. What's SW? I think that feminism won't pull the same weight in Germany because stuff is legal here. Your opinion. Well, you paid me 15 shekels. Let me go to the chat room. Somebody tell me what SW means. I'll click on this sex work. Oh, thanks, Reen. Oh, okay. Let me go back. Let me go back to Herschel. I think that feminism won't pull the same way because sex work is legal here. Yes, because men can just go pay for it. Technically, in some parts of the United States, it's legal here too. But yeah, once guys can get laid and just pay and avoid marriage altogether, they feminists would have less of an audience because men are like, don't care, got laid, bye. And women make some money along the way. Wisdom Vision Productions, $5. Also, I know many people who prefer to watch YouTubers trash new games instead of playing them. Companies literally creating a market to get roasted. What I'd say at least half my entertainment now is podcasts where they're critics watching movies, watching with a macabre fascination of the creative industry, whether that's movies, video games, or television, just make shit. Watching these people thinking it's a good idea. Like, don't you think it's fascinating that HBO, there are people in HBO that thought Velma was a good idea and they got a second season. Okay. It's interesting times to be alive. And what's great about I don't have to buy your shit. I don't have to watch it, but I've consumed hours, days, months of all these different podcasters who review the idiocy of Robin Hood and She-Hulk and Rings of Girl Boss and Blue Beetle and just horrifically bad shit. Just watch it. Like I I almost have to thank Kathleen Kennedy for being such an irrational person, or perhaps an ideologue or a propagandist, that she's willing to lose a company. Uh, well, this year anyway, the past year, about $1 billion in profits. They'd say, well, but the other, you're right. Overall, with the IP, they've made billions, but the value of the Lucasfilm brand is not zero, but you can't have a value. But your asset has no value if it generates losses. So from a purely financial analytical standpoint, you've eliminated any value that would come from it. But I find it a fascinating, kind of like psychologists, like back when they actually gave a shit maybe about mental illnesses and they're trying to figure it out. Like, wow, what is that? That's weird. That's macabre. It's fun watching a snake eat its own tail. Okay, Kathleen, what was the latest one? Outlaw, or they had the lesbian director with the Acolyte? Oh, it's entertaining. Is the Acolyte even? Hang on, let me look up the Acolyte. The Acolyte, season 1. Is there a season 2? Was the Acolyte canceled? Will not be getting a second series. Effectively canceling the show before it even airs. I am morbidly fascinated. Why, Kathy? Why? Why did you waste however many tens, maybe $100 million on that shit? Why? You could have helped so many poor. You're a leftist. We get it, okay? And you don't like white men. We get it. There are plenty of not white men who are poor that could have used that money. Why don't you just build some homes? Give the money to Habitat for Humanity. Give the money to St. Jude's Children, but just no white boys. Don't you help them white boys out. You got anything? Fine. Literally anything else could have been done with that money, and it would have done a lot better work for humanity. But that's it. It's fascinating. Like, okay, so and then you're gonna quadruple, septuple, double down on it. Like, yeah, I look forward to everyone trashing your trashy shit. Just your average black dude. Pedro for president, 5 Canadian. When Modern Warfare 2 beta first dropped, the only emblems you could choose were Modern Warfare 2 logo and a variety of LGBTQ flags. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. No, I'm not doing. No, I'm not buying it. And you can. It's almost predictable. You can watch the fallout, no pun intended, of a new big release game they almost invariably will have some kind of woke shit in it or a woke controversy around it. I just watch. I don't accept turds in my punch bowl. Care how small the turd is. Oh, we put lesbian flags. I'm pro lesbian. I'm pro gay. Right? I don't want it in my fucking games. It's like, nah, I'm not. No, nope. And I save myself $70, and maybe down the road I'll buy it for $6 when everyone. But I'm definitely not giving the studio my money. Reed Schwartzer, $5. Character creators mean they don't have to make a good main character because most can't make good characters anymore. Right. Well, and those are the people that need to be fired. Your average video game programming nerd is going, because it's a real job and that person has gone through real life. They're better character creators. The nerds that we had be our DMs for Dungeons and Dragons had way more creativity than people who went to school for it. by all means, hire every dipshit out of college to be your writers. Make sure they got the right politics. Make sure they're all spoiled little leftists who mom and dad and the government paid for everything. They never had to work. They never had to suffer. They don't go to the gym. Did you see? There was a video. It was Disney, and they were doing some kind of Star Wars thing, and it was like the making of. And maybe it was the Acolyte, but you looked at all the people they were filming, like they're filming. It's like journalists when they make a movie about themselves. Oh my God, it's the greatest movie ever. It was kind of a documentary of the people who were creating this TV show or movie or whatever it was. And you looked at them, not a single person there has lived a normal life. Not a single one. Doesn't mean you don't hire, okay, you got your flamboyant gay guy. Okay, he might serve a purpose. Sure, have him come in. But you looked at them all. They're all soy. They're all leftists. They're all like, oh my goodness. And what about Dave? Oh my God. Like, and you're straight. You're acting like that. Not to focus on the sexuality, but these are not normal people. They would do way better bringing in Hank off the assembly line at the Ford plant in Michigan. Say, Hank, what do you think about this character? Why the hell is he doing that? You go grab Becky, who's a hair salonist at the local hair salons. Becky, what do you think about that? Well, why is she doing this? That doesn't make any sense. You have a bunch of people, fart huffers, who are all up their own ass and never left theater school. Oh my goodness. Our professors told us to write this thing about this way. We have to follow this script. There's not a creative mind, not a single one in there. I'm shocked the product's all shit. Arnold A. Lample, €2. I still adore my Commodore 64. That's awesome. If you got it, man. You still got that? That's great. That's great. All right. Did I get everyone? I think I got everyone. Commodore 64. We got Reen. We got that. Oh, and then thanks, your average black dude, for letting me know about Modern Warfare 2. I would have probably gone and buy that later on, but now that I know that. What's Modern Warfare 2? Is that Bethesda? Infinity Ward. Yeah. I'm kind of sad because a series I really liked was Borderlands. I really liked that. Simple game, good graphics, ton of freaking guns, special weapons, and then just here's a truckload of vagina added to. Like, no, I'm not doing it. Nope. So I don't know if they're having another one come out. All right, there you go. That's it. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.